Hello guys, I'm trying to get a PhD or internship here in Beijing and one of the top universities, so let's do some AI research, let's figure out what we want to do. Join my school to become AI researcher, free trial link below the video. Now I'm just trying to figure out what I possibly want to research, maybe write some research paper, prepare for a PhD or internship. I'm here in Beijing, I wanna maybe go to one of the top universities or labs, do some internship there, and I'm just daily writing these, reading the blog posts, making videos, publishing on all social media, and just trying to learn how to do research, and then that will result into some internship for sure eventually. To come up with ideas, you probably need to read like 100 papers. That's what PhD students here do, they told me, and then you just identify some gaps or some interesting ideas, and then you write a paper on that. So we're just trying to read different ideas now. Let's check this blog post. Is the optimal hyperparameter for the Adam optimizer beta 1 equals beta 2 by Sujian Lin? I'm gonna leave the link below. First we have AdamW, and these are all of the formulas of the AdamW. So these are exponential moving averages. So when you are optimizing, you wanna also look at the previous gradients, previous steps. So if optimizer steps are going like this, a bit randomly, keeping this previous momentum will smooth out the movement. It will not go so random anymore. So that's what this momentum, it's taking the previous, taking the gradient and giving the current. So it's taking the previous as well. So that's the averaging factor. I will just go quickly over how AdamW works because I made a lot of videos. There is a lot of videos, and LLMs can help you explain or understand. So these two are for the beginning of the training when M and V are initialized at 0. So because they're initialized at 0, then the results of this will be also very small numbers. So then you need to use these in the beginning of the training based on beta, t, based on the timestamp. This will increase these values in the beginning of the training, the exponential moving averages. Now look at the fifth line, how this momentum is divided by the square root of this v, which is the squared gradient. So this means is that if the gradient is always big, then it will be divided by a big number, because square is making big numbers a lot bigger. So then it will be a big number here, and this u will get a lot smaller. So if the gradient is always big, u will be a lot smaller then, because it will be divided by a big number. And u determines how much we update the weights of the neural network. This is a stabilizing factor. So if you have big gradients, you want to reduce them to make updates a bit smaller. So the last line, we have new weights are equal to old weights minus. So we are going downhill, we are subtracting the gradient, learning rate, and then this update, and then some weight decay. Weight decay is making the weights, every step weights a bit smaller. So you see that you are actually subtracting the weights, the previous weights multiplied by some small number. So you are subtracting a bit of previous weights. So based on this blog post and current research, setting beta 1 equals beta 2 here seems to be the secret sauce for stability. Here we can get some research inspiration to write our own research papers and stuff. But let's continue reading. The idea here is that this beta 1, if it's set to 0.9, it's shorter term memory, like it has shorter memory than if you set beta 2 at 0.999. So this is keeping a lot of the old gradients, So the idea is this is keeping the short-term memory, this is keeping the long-term memory, and then we are using both. So it's like taking in the speed over the last 10 seconds of the car and vibrations over the last 15 minutes of the car, and then trying to do some calculations, but they are at different windows, time scales. So they are, these 10-second speed and these 15-minute vibrations might not be so related. But if you took, for example, 10-second speed and 10-second vibrations, that's a lot more related. So concept of signal and noise, if you look at the gradient, the mean of the gradient, if it's moving like this, then the mean would be kind of the average direction. We can look at the mean as this direction. So that's the signal, that's where we are moving. And noise is like all of the other directions that get cancelled out, that don't contribute to the final, this mean movement. Here we can see formula, so update step is proportional to 1 over square root of 1 plus noise over signal squared. So if signal is high, then this whole number will tend towards 1. If noise is high, this whole number will tend towards 0. You can check. So signal is high, then this number is 0, so it will be 1 over 1. If noise is high, then this number will be very big. Then it's 1 over big number, which is 0. So the author argues that when beta 1 is equal to beta 2, the Adam optimizer stops being just a momentum algorithm and transforms into a signal to noise ratio optimizer. So if beta 1 and beta 2 are different, then the momentum and variance are calculated over different time windows, which causes instability when gradients change quickly. But if they are synchronized, this forces the update step to be perfectly scaled based on the quality of the gradient. If the noise is high, then the step size shrinks as we explained, and if the noise is low, then the signal will get stronger, so the step size will be bigger. So you don't need to worry as much about gradient explosion or tuning the learning rate perfectly. The optimizer self-corrects its speed based on the data's noise level. So author actually proves, given a stream of adversarial worst-case gradients, what beta 2 minimizes the risk of the model exploding, and the answer is beta 2 equals beta 1. So this is interesting. There is now just a bit more difficult math proofs. I'm now scheming for what I want to research, so I'm gonna need to read like 100 papers or blog posts to find out what I want to research. I'm maybe gonna return to this in future if I do something about this, but it's good to know about this and to share about it on YouTube and stuff. So you can check this blog post, and see you in the next video.